Black History Month was started by Black people. So how is the government going to cancel something that Black people created? So it is up to us to keep Black history alive now. Because when in the world have we ever asked for a president's approval to celebrate and honor our own people? Never. So we're just going to keep on doing what we always do. Buying from Black businesses, supporting Black organizations, teaching ourselves Black history, having a cookout. Now I do have to plug myself, because I wrote a book about Black history for kids.
Welcome back to this channel, and I hope you are all doing good. You know, there are some truths in this world that some people would rather avoid. Yes, there are some truths in this world that some people would rather avoid, and it's not because that they are false, but it's because that they are uncomfortable. Yes, so today we are here talking about Black history, not the polished version you have learned in school, but the raw, unfiltered truth. Yes, and the reality is many people are not ready for it. So guys, let me roll these clips. I'll be coming back with more commentaries, and in case of any thoughts, kindly feel free to let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, stay tuned.
Black people are allowed to talk about black culture in a way that white culture cannot. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in Black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did, so what are you going to do, cancel me? Black people are much easier to be able to say that black individuals, despite being 13% of the American population, commit 55% of the murders. Most white people say that at a job, they would get fired for being a racist. I don't care because I say whatever I want.
Oh, bless your little colonizer heart. You really climbed on the internet and opened your pale mouth and decided to rewrite history in real time like the rest of us haven't been wide awake. The audacity to claim black people have more intellectual freedom while simultaneously gaslighting the entire globe into believing your fragility is under attack. Now that's rich. Irony is so thick, and it might as well pay for reparations. But I'm going to reveal the lie and hypocrisy behind the Olympics that you just won the new gold medalist for. You say black people can talk about black issues, but white people can't. Well, sweetheart, when y'all own CNN, Fox, Time Magazine, Hollywood, Disney, and the banks, and every Ivy League endowment, maybe, just maybe, you can sit out for just one conversation. And while you're pretending to be gagged, your people are in every boardroom, courtroom, war room, media room, pushing propaganda like it's your birthright. If you're so silent, how come the world speaks your language, worships your whiteness, and mimics your mediocrity in music, fashion, and culture? But I'm going to drop those receipts, the historical Holocaust y'all don't want us to talk about. Let's get into these statistics, since you love to throw out black crime rates around like white folks aren't the original terrorists. Let's talk about genocide. 100+ million indigenous people murdered globally via colonization. And how about slavery? Over 12 million Africans stolen, tortured, sold as properties, built your banks, White House, legacy wealth. And what about these serial killers? Oh, you don't want to talk about that, because statistically, over 76% of serial killers are in the U.S. are white. And how about school shooters? Yeah, those white boys, it's about 90% of them were school shooters, right? Oh, and let's not forget global extinction. Yeah, nearly every animal now endangered or extinct, white-led colonizers hunted for sport, fashion, and science. Yeah. And what about environmental destruction? You bulldozed the whole rainforests of this world, dumped oil in oceans, and then said climate change like it was a mystery. And let's not forget, you poisoned your own Europeans during the bubonic plague because y'all didn't believe in using soap. So before you speak on crime statistics, check the colonial body count. Yeah, I want to talk about this irony though. You all want to parent us now? You want to talk to us and talk down to us? You say black folks need to get their act together? Sir, y'all are the original baby's daddies, raping our women, selling our families, and now you're confused about single mothers? Your wives were sipping tea while your children suckled on the breast of black nannies. Did you forget? That's the origin of your wet nurse economy. You stole our families and then had the nerve to blame us for the fracture. That's like robbing a man and breaking his legs and then calling him lazy for limping. And don't come for our music, our art, and our soul. You manufactured the whole hedonism and handed the record deals to those willing to sell their souls for the culture you corrupted. Yeah, you say our rappers don't challenge the rot? You own the labels, genius. But I'm gonna connect those dots from the plantation to the Pentagon, baby. See, it wasn't just slavery. It was the war on drugs, the FBI's COINTELPRO, the Tuskegee experiment, redlining, predatory loans, prison labor, Black Wall Street bombings, and forced sterilization. Oh, did you forget that? You all orchestrated the problem, blamed the victim, and then handed out band-aids and made that BS, okay? Even your DEI talking points are laughable. White women are the primary beneficiaries of affirmative actions. Did you hear that right? You parade black faces for photo shoots, the poster child, while your HR departments remain whiter than sour cream. We see it. But here's the uncomfortable truth, sweetie. We are the blueprint, not the afterthought. We are not just black. We are the descendants of the tribe of Judah, the royal priesthood you've tried to erase. And you know this, which is why your scientists study our DNA, your historians bury our truth, and your politicians silences our speech. You envy our melanin, our rhythm, our brilliance, so you commodify, crucify, and then cosplay it on TikTok. But guess what? You can't colonize the spirit, baby. Here's the inevitable reckoning truth, and the truth don't die, it rises. So here we are, sifting through your smoke screens, unearthing your stolen stories, and refusing to play nice with lies. You're not silenced, so stop it. You're sobered, and that sobering truth is this. You can't cancel us when we are the original signal, the source of the frequency, the soil from which God made humanity. You call us victims, but we are the verdict, and the jury is back. Your father is the father of all lies, but our father, he is the truth that exposes every single one. I need you to kindly exit stage left because your time on the mic is up.
So guys, as we continue watching, this video is just for us to dive into these unfiltered truths of Black history, the stories, the perspectives, the realities that are often overlooked, the realities that are often ignored or even misunderstood. We are here talking about all these, from the systemic struggles even to the cultural resilience. We are here to explore the narratives that challenge mainstream understanding, and we are here to spark important conversation. That is why we are here for you. And you know, these truths may be uncomfortable for some, but they are necessary for growth. They are necessary for awareness, and also they are necessary for genuine dialogue. You know, history is not just about the past. It shapes the present, and it also shapes the future. So guys, are you ready to confront it? If you are ready to confront it, then join the conversation, share your thoughts respectfully in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real thought-provoking content like this one. Anyway guys, let's get into these remaining clips. I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Stay tuned.
Kids and teens to learn that Black history figures can connect to their own life through personal stories from my life and fun facts about these figures and their stories and their emotions. So please pre-order it today. Thank you.
So I had some white colleagues ask me what I thought about Trump actually segregating whites and blacks, and I actually told them straight up, like, honestly, I would love that. Now, they looked at me like I was crazy, and they almost spit up their almond milk, and I think they thought that maybe I was saying that out of hatred, but it really isn't about hatred. Here's the thing, I'm not talking about their version of segregation. See, I'm talking about our version of righteous separation, spiritual sovereignty, and black sufficiency. See, the truth of it is that integration was never about freedom. It was finesse. It was a system's way of saying, let's stop them from succeeding independently so we can profit from their brilliance directly. It was about control. And so I want us to be very clear about this. You know, we were never separate but equal. So that's a lie. We were separate and excelling. We had our own schools, we had our own banks, we had our own businesses, and baby, we were thriving. Black Wall Street, they burned it. Rosewood, they bombed it. Wilmington, they overthrew it. Why? Because we were doing too well without them, and they couldn't handle that. And so that's the truth. They didn't really want segregation gone. They wanted control. This is why we know that integration was just repackage of chains. When we were separate, we actually were building and excelling. And when they saw that we could excel without them, then it was like, oh no, we got to take control and make sure that their labor is profiting us. So right around that time, they rolled out this whole standardized testing, ACT and SAT. Y'all remember that? They created this IQ ranking to measure their norms, not our brilliance. And then we were said we were behind when we really weren't. We were just building our own lane, not asking for theirs. See, I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of tired of the lies. It's very exhausting, you know, just the lies that continue to be promoted. And I want to talk about the melanin, because this whole thing that we're not smart enough, that we're not bright enough, is simply just a lie. And so, you know, all this testing that they're doing, and I have kids in school, and they're made to feel that they cannot achieve, and I have to remind them about their actual superpower, melanin. See, not just your skin tone, but in your brain, specifically neuromelanin, that rich dark pigment found in areas like the substantia nigra, which are critical for learning and memory and decision making and emotional regulation. See, if you don't know, then you won't know how to respond. But when you learn about the studies that have actually linked the neuromelanin to higher concentrations and how it's related to enhanced memory and processing and higher intelligence and faster reaction times, then you know why they have hidden this information for so long. Because when you have higher melanin, you have stronger brain resilience against degenerative diseases. So translation to that is melanin doesn't just make you glow, it makes you grow. So we know that it's not coincidental that people with more melanin have historically been creators, inventors, innovators across every discipline, while also being the most suppressed, because they know that the more melanin you have in your body and in your brain actually produces higher intelligence. So the Bible also says this too in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verses 7. It says he placed treasures in earthen vessels. What treasures? It was in us all along, right? So we have more melanin, and we know that people with less melanin, because it's a recessive gene and it's a mutation, lack the same level of intelligence, of many different benefits that come along with that. What's so interesting about it is that we're supposed to be looking at this as if it's something negative. But why is it negative when every other cultural group does this? Group economics. See, the truth of the matter is they have stolen from us so many different things, and yet we still survive. And so I don't want to offend, but I have to be blunt here. When we invented it, they patented it. When we built it, they banked on it. So everything we created, they made sure they benefited off of it. Just like Louis Latimer, he actually developed the light bulb, but Edison got all the glory for it. And this has been going on through history. We know that Granville T. Woods laid the foundation for trains. Corporations got the contracts. Dr. Patricia Bath revolutionized eye surgery. The system licensed the tech. Black music became white record labels, billion-dollar industries off of our talent. Every time we create, they capitalize. We are the genius. but they control the royalties. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So when we talk about the facts and segregation, I want to be very clear. It's not racist. We have to understand the dynamics of this. See, the black dollar actually is the fastest running dollar in America. So let's do the math here. And I think it's quite funny. Black people have spending power over 1.6 trillion. But guess what? That dollar stays in our community just for 6 hours, while the white community their dollar stays in their community 17.
We on it, guys. You know, there are some truths in this world that people would rather avoid, just as I said. And because once you understand this full narrative, you cannot unsee it. Once you understand the full story of Black history, you cannot unsee it. You start to question everything. The narratives that you were taught in school, the heroes you were told to admire, and the silence around the certain truths. So, you know, for generations, history has been carefully edited. Yes, of course, it has been carefully trimmed down, it has been carefully softened, and even it has been repackaged. Yes, we hear about progress. We hear about progress, but not always about the cost. We hear about freedom, but not always about who was excluded. Black history is often reduced to a few key figures, a few safe moments, and a timeline that feels comfortable. But the real story, it's much deeper than that. Yes. So the truth is, Black history is filled with resistance. It is filled with resilience and with voices that refused to be silenced. It is a history of people who built, people who created, and people who shaped societies. So while simultaneously being denied basic human rights, it is a story of systems, not just individuals. Systems that did not just appear, but were designed. They were enforced and protected, and that's the part that makes people uncomfortable, because it shifts the conversation from what happened back then to how does it still affect us today. So when the full truth comes out, it challenges the identity, it forces people to confront privilege, and also to question fairness, and to acknowledge that history was not equal. And for some, that feels like an attack, even when it is simply an acknowledgement of reality. But truth is not the enemy. Silence is, yes. So understanding Black history in its full context is not about blame. It is about awareness. It is about recognizing contributions that were erased and struggles that were minimized. It is about giving credit where it's due and understanding the foundation of the world we live in today. Because when you know the truth, you move differently. When you know the truth, you see differently and you think differently. Yes. So do we ignore it because it is uncomfortable, or do we face it, learn from it, and grow from it? You know, real progress does not come from denial. It comes from honesty. And the unfiltered truth about Black history is not meant to divide. It is meant to reveal. It is meant to educate. It is meant to awaken and also to challenge, because history in its truest form is not just a story of the past. It is a mirror of the present, and if we are brave enough to look into that mirror, we might finally understand what needs to change. And if this made you think, guys, kindly drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a real conversation respectfully. Like, share, and subscribe for more content that challenges perspectives and brings truth to light. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video, and this video is meant for educational purposes. Thank you. Be blessed. Peace be with you. Amen.